Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Footy Mates. Today we're gonna go over Game Week 29, the biggest double game week of the season. I'm gonna go over the 3 must-haves that you have to have if you want to climb up the ranks this week. Before we get into that, let's have a quick look into Game Week 28. I think it was a pretty fruitful week for me for sure. I'm back into the 100k, top 100k, and the 2 out of the 3 picks that I had suggested did provide some returns. Watkins with an assist and Kane with a goal, but really the big swinging factor was Saka captain. I personally just thought a team that's playing at home and a midfielder gets more points, and someone else who's a forward, that's Kane, was facing Southampton, and we had seen Southampton recently not concede a lot of goals against Man U, against I think whoever else they played. I don't think they were conceding a lot of goals, so that's just my reasoning, and it worked out in my favor. Huge swing, and that really helped me against those who chose HAVES and who outscored Watkins. So I think that was just the big factor for anyone who had a big shift up or down this week. And yeah, let's once again go into our routine. Look at the fixture analysis, look at the teams we're trying to target, and then move right into the 3 must-haves. So, looking at the fixture analysis, we can see Arsenal with a single game week against Leeds, which is pretty favourable, but still a single game week. Villa has Chelsea and Leicester, so not too bad, I guess. Maybe just for the forwards and not for the defence. We have Bournemouth, who we don't really consider. Brentford, who a lot of us have 2 or 3 players from, are facing Brighton and Man U both away. And I know that sounds kind of tough on paper, but I definitely think there are good options in the Brentford team, because they have been outperforming. Everyone really considers them as, maybe last year's Brentford, but they're a very different team, and I'd say they're even better than Chelsea at the moment. So don't just go by big name teams, go by the underlying stats for each team, I guess. Brighton with one of the best doubles of this game week. I think Brentford at home and Bournemouth away. I'll show you later how what Bournemouth's underlying stats are and Brighton's underlying stats, and I really think Brighton have a really good shout at smashing both those games and getting double digit returns, especially for the midfielders, and maybe also a clean sheet would help the defenders. Chelsea is not too bad, I guess. 2 home games against Villa and Liverpool. And then maybe moving down, we have Liverpool have a double, probably one of the toughest doubles you could have in the Premier League, facing City away and Chelsea away. So not that great for maybe the defense, but maybe a standout might just be Mo Salah. And we have City just with a single game week, so you don't want to load up on their players too much. Man U have one of the best doubles too, Newcastle away and Brentford at home. Both teams in good form that they're facing, but some of their players have been performing really well, especially after the restart, except the 7-0, of course. Shout out to Mo Salah and his team, but I think they've been exceptional. They've had so many 2-0s and clean sheets, 3-0s, 2-0s, and Rashford banging in so many goals. So definitely think that's something to consider. And yeah, apart from that, I think there's no one else. Newcastle maybe are a good shout since they have West Ham away, but Man U at home is not the best fixture for their defensive assets for sure. But yeah, let's get right into the next section, that is the teams that we want to target based on goals against. So I want to quickly go over the teams that have the highest expected goals against after the restart. You can see Bournemouth topping the list, and we know Brighton's facing them, so that's someone we might want to target. Everton, Palace, Leeds. Arsenal's facing Leeds. Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa. Chelsea's facing Villa. Leicester, Fulham, and Southampton. So I think not just for this week, maybe this week this wouldn't be very helpful, but just for future, if you know someone's like say in the blank that's coming up in Game Week 32, Nottingham Forest facing Liverpool and Southampton's facing Arsenal, so that those are the fixtures you don't really want to miss out on too much. Maybe Leeds is not too bad a fixture, so those maybe were thinking about selling Salah to say Maddison. Think twice about it, because Leicester has not been the best in terms of giving FPL returns, while Saka and Arsenal have been. So maybe a single game week is not the worst thing in the world. So accordingly, I want to just put this out there that these are teams that are conceding the most chances, and if you have attackers who are facing these teams, definitely look at that and try and plan accordingly, not just for Game Week 29, but the fixture run ahead too. Moving on to why you're actually here, then my number one pick for Game Week 29 is Marcus Rashford from United. I think he's been exceptional. He's probably one of the best players after Haaland this season. Maybe more so after the World Cup. He's had 12 appearances, 10 goals, 1 assist, and an XG of 7.01, XA of 0.48, and his price is only 7.3 million. He's literally the best value for money you can get. Maybe someone who's contesting with him is, I guess, Saka, but I wouldn't put him in this video because we're not looking to buy Saka. Some people might actually be willing to sell him. But on the other hand, Rashford had a blank, so maybe people had got rid of him. So I definitely think if you don't have him, you have to go rush to get him in. I think he's definitely going to be my number one captain choice. He is flagged as of time of recording, so we just want to make sure he is going to play 90 minutes in the first game and I guess around 90 in the second, or even at least 75 plus. But that's something to consider. But otherwise, he's definitely my number one choice. He has the most goal threat out of anyone for sure. The bookies put him on the highest odds to score this game week, and we know he can be very lethal. He's been scoring in almost every game. Everything he does, everything he touches turns to goal. He's just been too good, and I definitely think if you don't have him, you need to put him in your team. He has double game week against Newcastle and Brentford, and as I mentioned, if he's the player who's been second captain choice after Haaland all this time, and now he has a double game week, while see someone like Saka or Haaland have single game weeks. He's definitely a man to target. Even though he's not on pens, I think he's exceptional, and maybe he does take the off penalty if maybe he won it and like they're already winning and they just let him take it. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for assurance, and I definitely assure you he's someone you want on your team this week, and he's probably going to be more than 60% captain, so his effective ownership is going to be very high if that matters to you. So if you want to climb up the ranks, maybe you should captain someone else, but definitely don't go without him in your team for this game week. Moving on to some more interesting picks and underrated picks more than the ordinary. Someone who's only 7.9% owned at time of recording, and he has an XA of 7.05 in 12 games after the World Cup. So I think that's exceptional. He's got the goal threat and the assist. He's on pens. That's Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United, a midfielder who gets clean sheet points. If he has a bad game, he scores a pen, he gets a 10-pointer. It's too easy. And one more thing I want to note about him is that the two double game weeks that we've had so far with Man U, he scored double-digit hauls. I think the first one was a 19-pointer and then like 12 or 13. So he's been really consistent in that sense. I didn't have him once or twice, I think, so I definitely have FOMO and I want to have him this time around. He's gonna be my number one transfer in, probably for Odegaard, I guess, because Odegaard has a single game week. But I think he's been really good in terms of his goal threat. The only downside maybe if he starts to play in number 6, because they don't really have Casemiro there. But I think they have many other options to play there. Maybe McTominay, who did such wonders in the international break, starts. But I think Bruno's going to be nailed number 10 on pens. He can score without pens, with pens. He can assist. That's his biggest selling point, I guess. And good fixtures. His price is not as high as Salah or Haaland. And yeah, he's got 5 assists in these 12 games, 3 goals. That's definitely good stats. Someone who's proven, nailed. He's going to be playing 180 minutes no matter what. Like, it takes a lot for him to miss any minutes, especially this season. So definitely get him in if you don't have him. Some people may compare him to maybe Maddison, but I think Bruno has a double in 29, 34, 37. That's 6 fixtures. Where some people may have 3 or 4 like Maddison, and that is a big difference for a pen taker of a team that's on the up. Man U, we all know, have been really exceptional after Ten Hag has come in and done his wonders. Maybe after settling in, he's been their talisman who's been returning after Rashford. He's been my number 2 best player for Man U in terms of FPL points, of course. I think he's someone you really want to get in, and he has low ownership. Maybe other people are looking for people don't want to move away from Saka or Odegaard, or brought in Maddison and don't have him. I think he's going to be scoring the highest out of the 4, and if you have him, you're climbing up the ranks, given he's like, man, you don't have the worst game in the world. So yeah, get him in. My number 3 pick for Game Week 29 is Alexis McAllister from Brighton. I think he's been phenomenal. Maybe the numbers don't justify how good he has been, but he has really taken up that number 10 position for Brighton and owned it. He's been, maybe even without penalties, he's probably been the most lethal out of March and Mitoma. Maybe March is a bit higher, but just for emphasis, he's been exceptional, getting in behind, getting in those scoring positions, and of course he's on pen, so that's a big thing. That's what we look for a lot in differentiating who we're buying, maybe when we have two otherwise equal players. His numbers have been pretty good, XG of 4.25, while he's only has scored 2 goals after the World Cup, so it shows he's been getting in those good positions, taking a lot of shots, and he will get his big haul sooner or later. He has already gotten like 10 pointers, but he could even get more. And in a double game week, I think people will probably even be captaining him. If Rashford's not fit, you have Rashford and Casemiro missing from Man U. That makes them kind of a weaker side, and you see Brighton, who have such good fixtures, such good form. I think their pen taker would be my vice captain in this game week. So he's been exceptional. Look at his price, 5.5 million. That's anyone can buy him, and it's not the point of just buying him for 29. He has a double in 29, 34, 37, and maybe in 35 or 36, one more. So they have four doubles left. Make sure you're not selling your Brighton players till the end of the season. That's another point to note. And he has pretty good fixtures: Brentford at home, Bournemouth away. So you have a home fixture against a difficult team, and then an away fixture against a pretty easy team. So that's some pros there. His ownership is only 7%, so I think a lot of people chose the more popular March and Mitoma, and this is your chance for a great upside. I think he can be phenomenal. I wouldn't even be too shy or look down on a move of, like, say, Mitoma to McAllister, because I really think March and McAllister are the top two, and they are expected to have the highest returns, but you never know. It's FPL and it may bite you in the ass. So don't take my word for it, but definitely my number 3 pick. It's undoubted that he's clear of everyone else this week, in a great goal scoring side. And maybe they do have a couple of tough fixtures like Tottenham, Chelsea next, I think, but I don't deny that they have a very good chance of winning both those games, because they are ranked in a good place in the table. They have been performing exceptionally lately. They have a good manager, good flow going on, while the other teams are more so in a transitionary phase. And yeah, he has a double in 34. If you're free hitting 32, that's perfect for all 3 of these picks. Definitely get him in this week, if not in the next double game week that they have, but you will see more and more why his numbers don't even justify how good he's been. Finally, moving on to the last section of this video, the watch list. These are some of the players that I just keep in mind for the future game weeks. I don't necessarily want to get them right now because of some reasons, like pretty obvious reasons. Say City only have a single game week, while Salah has very tough fixtures. But these are players who are doubling in 34 and 37, and have kind of decent chances of having huge hauls. I think in 34, there's only a few teams have good doubles, and you know that City is always expected to have a high, I guess, ceiling. Especially maybe for someone like Edison, it's really just 12, but it's a very good chance of a good 12. And for Haaland, you know, his ceiling could be like 35 to 50, I don't know, anything. And Salah also, we've seen in previous seasons, has had exceptional double game weeks. He's had a 30-pointer, and he could definitely bring great upside potential. Right now, I think he has kind of difficult fixtures, but from here onwards, if you say you want to get him in 30 or 31, even in 32, he's facing Nottingham Forest. I think he is probably a hold for the rest of the season. When you have only like 3 or 4 big teams doubling in 34 and 37, and you know that Salah has always been our go-to for the last 2 seasons, except maybe a small patch this season where he's not been performing too well. I think he is someone who can always just find his form very quickly. He's a pen taker. He's always running down the wings, always in the heart of any goals that are coming through for Liverpool, and they've definitely improved in recent times with their goals scored, if not the goals conceded. But I think he's someone who's guaranteed to have those 180 minutes when you have good doubles, and maybe if there's more rotation for someone like Nunez, Jota, Firmino, Diaz coming back, that just helps the team, but he doesn't really lose minutes, so it's a win-win for you, and I guess for Liverpool fans or anyone who has Liverpool players, such as guaranteed spots like Salah and Arnold. So yeah, definitely get him in future. Keep him in mind. He's gonna be on my radar, and I think we definitely want to see how he does this game week in a tough double. Maybe a lot of people already transferred him in, and he does provide good upside to them, and we miss out. But I think Bruno's clear of him in that spot if we're looking at that price range and the fixtures that Bruno has compared to Salah. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thanks a lot for watching. Hit that subscribe button, give a like, leave any comments below if you think there's something you want to add to this segment. And yeah, see you next week for game week 30. We have a few exciting weeks to the finale, and yeah, these videos are mostly for you to try and get those underrated picks, except maybe Rashford in this video, where you can climb up the ranks, finish at a good rank, that overall rank that you would be happy with. And yeah, see you next week.